Hello everyone, welcome to History and Civics class for class 7. We are going to start up with the new lesson number 11, Aurangzeb and his Deccan policy, decline of the Mughal Empire. Key concepts of the lesson are introduction of the topic, Aurangzeb's reign, Aurangzeb's rebellions, Aurangzeb's policy in Deccan, estimate of Aurangzeb, cultural development under Aurangzeb, the later Mughals, causes for the decline of the Mughal Empire. Learning outcomes of the lesson are children will be able to understand about the reason of Aurangzeb, discuss the rebellions of Aurangzeb, discuss the Aurangzeb's Deccan policy, understand the cultural development under his reign, trace the causes of decline of the Mughal Empire. Terms to be discussed in today's video. Regnal, related to sovereign. Trivial, of little importance. Single-handed, done without help from anyone. Martyred, a person who killed because of the religious or other beliefs. Allies, state formally cooperating with one another for military or other purposes. Martyrdom, the death of martyr. Guru Granth Sahib, Adi Granth, Sacred Book of Sikhs. Eternal Guru, Guru existing forever. Mortal, subject to death. Topics to be discussed in today's video. Introduction of the topic, Aurangzeb's reign, Aurangzeb's rebellions. In this, we will discuss the Bundelas, the Jats, the Satnamis, the Rajputs, the Marathas, the Sikhs. In the previous chapter, you have learnt about Shah Jahan and his military campaign. Shah Jahan fell ill in AD 1657. Soon, war of succession started among his four sons, Dara, Shikoh, Shuja, Aurangzeb and Murad. Aurangzeb started a war against his brothers and emerged victorious. He ascended the throne in AD 1658 and ruled for 49 years. His reign can be divided into two parts from AD 1658 to AD 1680 and second one from AD 1681 to 1707. After the Aurangzeb's death, the Mughal Empire entered into the phase of decline, and this is the end of the great Mughals, and after that we will study about the later Mughals. Let's continue with the reading. You have already read in the previous chapter that a war of succession broke out among the four sons of Shah Jahan, namely Dara Shikoh, Shuja, Aurangzeb and Murad. Aurangzeb waged, means won, a war against his brothers and emerged victorious. He ascended the throne in AD 1658 and ruled for 49 years. His reign can be divided into two parts. Number 1 from AD 1658 to AD 1680 and second one from AD 1681 to 1707. After Aurangzeb's death, the Mughal Empire entered into the phase of decline and deterioration. Deterioration means the process of becoming progressively worse. Let's continue with the reading. Aurangzeb's reign. Aurangzeb AD 1658 till 1707 was the last of the great Mughals. His regnal, means related to sovereign, title was Alamgir, conqueror of the world. According to J.N. Sarkar, his Aurangzeb own reign AD 1658 till 1707 covers the second half of the 17th century. Under him, the Mughal Empire reached its greatest extent. Aurangzeb's empire stretched from Kashmir in the north to Karnataka in the south and from Ghazni in the west to Chittagong in the east. Aurangzeb reigned for a remarkably a long period of 50 years, till 1707 AD. He was the last great Mughals, commonly known by the sobriquet Aurangzeb. In Persian, it means ornament of the throne, or by his regnal title, Alamgir, means conqueror of the world, was the sixth Mughal emperor who ruled over almost the entire Indian subcontinent for a period of 49 years. widely considered to be the last effective ruler of the Mughal Empire. Under Aurangzeb, the Mughal Empire reached to its greatest extent. Aurangzeb's empire stretched from Kashmir in the north to Karnataka in the south, and from Ghazni in Afghanistan in the west to Chittagong in the east. Aurangzeb's long reign is divided roughly into two periods. In the first period, AD 1658 till 1680, he was engaged with the affairs of North India. In the second period, AD 1681 till 1707, he stayed in the Deccan to crush the growing powers of the Marathas. Aurangzeb's long reign is divided roughly into two periods. In the first period, in AD 1658 till 1680, he was engaged with the affairs in the northern India, and in the second period from AD 1681 till 1707, he stayed in the Deccan to crush the growing powers of the Marathas. Let's continue with the Aurangzeb's rebellions. The Bundelas. In AD 1659, Champat Rai Bundela revolted against Aurangzeb. However, soon he committed suicide. His son Chitrasal troubled the Mughals a lot. The struggle for the first time between Mughals and Bundelas began in the time of Madhukar Shah. To take revenge from Dara in the War of Succession, Champat Rai had cooperated with Aurangzeb, but on some matters Champat Rai came against and revolted against the Mughals in AD 1661 AD. After being defeated, he committed suicide instead of accepting lordship. After the death of Champat Rai, his son Chhatrasal revolted against Aurangzeb. Chhatrasal troubled Mughals a lot. Let's continue with the reading. The Jats. In AD 1669, the Jats also revolted against Aurangzeb in Mathura, Uttar Pradesh. Under the leadership of Gokul, they plundered the district. The Jats were defeated and Gokul was slain. Slain means killed or murdered in a violent way. Under the leadership of Churaman, the Jats carried out their struggle. After Aurangzeb's death, he, Churaman, founded the Jat dynasty of Bharatpur, city in eastern Rajasthan. The first section to come into conflict with the Mughal Empire was the Jats of the Agra and Delhi region, who were living on the both sides of river Yamuna. In 1669, under the leadership of local Zamindar Gokula, the Jats of Mathura were rebelled, which spread rapidly among the peasants of the area. This rebel compelled Aurangzeb to take serious actions against this rebellion. As a result, the Jats were defeated and Gokula was captured and executed. The rebel continued to 1691, when their leader Rajaram and his successor Churaman were compelled to surrender. The Jats carried on their struggle. During the 18th century, after the death of Aurangzeb, Churaman took the advantage of Mughal civil wars and weakness. He founded the Jat dynasty of Bharatpur, the city in the eastern Rajasthan. Let's continue with the Satnamis. The Satnamis were the religious sect of Narnaul. In AD 1672, there was a petty dispute between a Satnami peasant and a Mughal foot soldier. Paida, a Satnami peasant was killed, and the trivial means little important quarrel took a religious color. Ultimately, the rebels were defeated. In AD 1672, at Narnaul near Mathura, another armed conflict occurred between the peasants and the Mughal foot soldiers. This time, the conflict was with the religious body known as Satnamis. The Satnamis were mostly peasants, artisans, and the lower caste people, such as goldsmiths, carpenters, and sweepers. Let's continue. The Rajputs. Maharaja Jaswant Singh of Jodhpur died in AD 1678 on the northwest frontier without leaving an heir, means legal son. He was in the service of the Mughals at that time. Aurangzeb saw it as an opportunity to bring the state of Marwar under his control. After Maharaja Jaswant Singh's death, his two widows gave birth to two sons. One of them died while the other, known as Ajit Singh, lived to claim the possession of Marwar. Maharaja Jaswant Singh died at Jamrut near Peshawar on 28 December AD 1678. He died without leaving a legal son. He was in the service of Mughals at that time. Aurangzeb saw it as an opportunity to bring the state of Marwar under his control. But after his death, his two wives were pregnant and gave birth to two sons. One of them died, another, known as Ajit Singh, claimed for the areas of Marwar. Let's continue with the reading. The Rajputs and the Mughals fought against each other from AD 1679 to AD 1681. However, the Rajput War drained the resources of Aurangzeb. Consequently, Aurangzeb could not get the loyalty and the support of the Rajputs. Now he had to fight in the Deccan single-handedly. Single-handed means done without the help of anyone else, against the Marathas and the kingdom of Bijapur and Golconda. The Rajputs and the Mughals fought against each other from AD 1679 to AD 1681. In AD 1679, state of Mewar and Marwar rebelled against Aurangzeb. However, the prolonged war drained the resources, wealth and the army of Aurangzeb. Consequently, Aurangzeb could not get the loyalty and support of the Rajputs. Jahangir continued the Akbar's policy of marriage alliances with Rajputs, but Aurangzeb did not get the support of the Rajputs. As a result, he had to fight in the Deccan single-handedly, without any help and support of the Rajputs, against Marathas and the kingdom of Bijapur and Golconda. Let's continue with the Marathas. Under the leadership of Shivaji, the Marathas began to raid into Mughal territories. In AD 1663, Aurangzeb sent Siasta Khan against Shivaji. Siasta Khan, barely escaped with his life. Now Aurangzeb sent Raja Jai Singh and the Prince Muazzam against Shivaji. In AD 1665, Raja Jai Singh forced Shivaji to sign the Treaty of Purandar. Treaty means agreement between two countries, two places, or two persons. Aurangzeb then imprisoned Shivaji and his son, but both of them escaped using a clever scheme and reached the Deccan. In spite of his best scheming, Aurangzeb could not suppress the Marathas' resistance. Resistance means refusal to accept or comply with something. Shivaji was an Indian warrior king and a member of the Bhonsle Maratha clan. Under his leadership, the Marathas began to capture the territories of the Mughal Empire. In AD 1663, Aurangzeb sent Shaista Khan, who was the governor of the Deccan, to take action against Shivaji. Shivaji, with his Maratha soldiers, attacked on Shaista Khan at his palace at Pune. Shaista Khan lost his fingers but successfully escaped with his life. Now Aurangzeb deputed Raja Jai Singh, one of his ablest commanders, to take action against Shivaji. Raja Jai Singh captured several forts and Shivaji was forced to sign the Treaty of Purandar, which was peace treaty in AD 1665. Aurangzeb sent Shivaji and his son into prison. Shivaji thought of a plan to escape. He pretended to be ill and started sending the sweet baskets. He took this advantage and escaped in the baskets of sweets and reached Deccan. Shivaji gained his power again and recaptured all the forts captured by Raja Jai Singh and Siasta Khan. But this time, Aurangzeb could not stop the progress of Marathas. After Marathas, Aurangzeb had to face the Sikhs' rebellion due to his religious intolerance policy. Now let's read and understand more about this topic. The Sikhs. The ninth Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji was martyred. Martyred means to death of a martyr. in AD 1675 during the reign of Aurangzeb for refusing to convert to Islam. Guru Gobind Singh Ji, the only son of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, was born in AD 1666. In AD 1699, he created the Khalsa, the Pure Ones. He fought several battles against the armies of Aurangzeb and his allies. His 4 sons also obtained martyrdom, the death of the martyr. In AD 1708, he declared the Guru Granth Sahib Ji as an eternal Guru. Here, the Guru Granth Sahib Ji was a sacred book of Sikhism, and eternal Guru means the Guru exists forever. In AD 1708, Guru Gobind Singh Ji shed his mortal fame. Mortal means subject to death. Now, the conflict between the Sikhs and the Mughals started during the reign of Jahangir, when Guru Arjan Dev Ji, the 5th Guru of the Sikh, was tortured to death by him. The struggle became intensive during the reign of Aurangzeb. The 9th Guru, Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, was greatly hurt and distressed. Aurangzeb called him to Delhi and asked him to embrace Islam. On his refusal to do so, he was put to death after a lot of torture. Gurdwara Shishganj at Chandni Chowk in Delhi stands at the place of his martyrdom. Conflict with Sikhs continued during the entire period of Aurangzeb. Guru Gobind Singh Ji was the only son of Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, was born at Patna in AD 1666. In AD 1699, he created the Khalsa. He fought several battles against armies of Aurangzeb and his allies. Here the word allies mean the area or territories which were cooperating with the armies of Aurangzeb. Guru Gobind Singh Ji's 4 sons, Ajit Singh, Joravar Singh, Jujhar Singh and Fateh Singh, obtained martyrdom at the sake of religion. In AD 1708, he declared the Guru Granth Sahib Ji, a sacred book of Sikhs, as an eternal Guru, means Guru exists forever. In AD 1708, Guru Gobind Singh Ji shed his mortal fame, and after him the Guru Granth Sahib Ji was considered the eternal Guru, which contained the heavenly light of the 10 Gurus of Sikhs. After Khalsa was founded in AD 1699 by 10th Guru Guru Gobind Singh Ji at Anandpur Sahib, it is the body or a company of fully initiated Sikhs. Each Sikh should have the 5 signs called the 5 Ks. Kanga means comb, Kada means steel or iron bangle, Kes, unkempt hair covered by a turban and a beard, Kirpan means short sword, Kashhara means short trousers. Okay students, this is the end of the today's topic. I hope you understood the topic. You are able to solve some exercises. Don't forget to learn the terms. I'll come with the next video. Thank you. Have a nice day.